to my channel. 'Tis I, the Frenchiest French fry, and I thought that I would do just a quick video about why I'm losing weight, what has been going on. The thing is that I kind of wanted to keep this whole thing under wraps until I got my feet under me, and I feel like I have my feet under me because remember the last time, a couple years ago, when I was trying to lose weight and I was going about it very haphazardly. I don't think that I just didn't have my feet under me. I wasn't in a place to have my feet under me, and I wasn't in a good spot anyway. And I feel like now I have a handle on what I'm doing. I prayed really hard about this. Cautiously confident. I'm trying to go slow. I am going intentionally about this. And I just thought that I would just kind of like, okay guys, here, like I feel like I dropped my Instagram like out of nowhere. Like here's my Instagram of what I'm doing. So now I'm going to post a video about what's been going on and kind of how I got here, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and how it's been going. First things first, I started losing weight immediately after Thanksgiving. I started my health journey at that point, and I have, over the Christmas season, lost 10 pounds, and I've kept it off. So basically, right after Thanksgiving, through Christmas, and through COVID, when I got COVID, I've managed to lose 10 pounds and keep it off. Why are you doing this, Chelsea? Well, let me tell you. I was always an overweight kid. I got bullied a lot growing up, like a lot growing up. I grew up, as a typical fat kid would, in a house made of butter. My grandmother was an Oklahoma grandmother, and I would come home like another day of being bullied and there would be cookies ready. There was always coffee cake available. There was always bowls of, we had like, I have a Hoosier cupboard. You guys can't see it from that angle. I have a Hoosier cupboard in my house. It's like over 100 years old. I also have a vanity that's over 100 years old because I like old furniture. I don't know why. So my grandmother has a matching Hoosier cupboard, and there was always a bowl of candy. The bowl would change out by season, but the Hoosier cupboard was always, it had a bowl of candy, it had candy and gum and Jello and all sorts of stuff up in the top, and then in the bottom it was full of chip bags. So have an emotion. If you're having an emotion, that's how you deal with that emotion. You eat the emotion. So I learned from a very early age that that's how life is to be dealt with. That's how you cope, okay? Have a bad day, eat a chip. Have a good day, go out to eat and have some pasta. Like, you just learn from a very early age that that's what you need to be doing. When I was 7, I was on my first diet. My mom had us on a rice and lentils diet. It didn't work. When I was 13, my mom placed me on Jenny Craig. When Jenny Craig does Jenny Craig even still exist? Like, Kirstie Alley, I think, was a big proponent of it back in the day, but does it even still exist anymore? I'm not entirely sure. I was on Jenny Craig and I got down. Actually, I was 14 and I started at 175 pounds and I got down to 145 pounds. And I'll go ahead and flash like my success glamour shot that I did at 14. Like, yes, I'm so fabulous. I'm wearing like a t-shirt that I got from my mom's boyfriend. It's like weird, but I'm super cute. And and even when I got down to that weight, I was still being bullied. I was still being picked on. I was still being made fun of. I was still being told how fat I was. And I look at that picture and I'm like, I was not fat. I was cute. I look at other pictures when I was growing up, time periods of thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so fat, and everybody makes fun of me. I have a picture of being like 10 years old, and I'm so freaking cute. And all I remember from being 10 is that a boy that I went to school with named Brady, we had gym together, and every time I backed up, he would beep at me like I was a semi-truck backing up. I really hope that by eventually homeschooling my kids, it's not gonna be as prolific and harsh and without recourse as it was when I was a kid in elementary school, middle school, and high school. It was just hard growing up with just bullies constantly over your shoulder. Everywhere you go, there's a bully, you know? There's nothing that you can do about it. Part of the problem with Jenny Craig, the way that they made money and the way that they were successful is like Nutrisystem, where the only way for you to keep the weight off is by eating their food. So you have to purchase food from them for your weight loss to be sustainable, which is super not sustainable for you. I wasn't shown how to make those good choices. I was charged money for a week's worth of groceries. Like, I can go and buy lean cuisine. Like, you know, they didn't teach me what the fundamentals were of what needed to be on my plate. They didn't even really explain to me. They told me, here's what your calories are, but they didn't really teach me what was like the fundamentals of that. Like, one thing that would have helped me a lot is them going over carbs do not fill you up. Protein fills you up. So if you're going to go over calories with something substantial like protein, you know? Like, if you're going to go over calories, get like a chicken breast if you're hungry. That's going to fill you up and satiate you for a while. The chips in the bag aren't. You might be within calories with the chips in the bag maybe, but it's not going to fill you up and it's not going to make you feel any better. I wish that I knew what I know now. And I wish that I had been taught better how to appreciate and love my body. And that eating good foods and eating foods that even I enjoy, or like incorporating just like some of the foods that I enjoy even, is a way of showing love and appreciation to myself. And nourishing my body and taking care of my body and keeping my body healthy are ways that I can really show thankfulness for it. And I wish that somebody had taught me these things. Like, I feel like I got shamed and nobody took me aside and said, this is what nutrition is, and this is how you need to treat your body. And this is, you know, and nobody told me that you can't outrun your fork, and nobody told me any of these things. I had to find out as an adult. So anyway, fast forward. My husband and I got married, and we were so like, oh yeah, we're gonna get healthy and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. And when I met my husband, he had lost a lot of weight actually before we got married. But when you get married, sometimes you get really, really stressed out. I want to preface, we went through like 4 years of just, it was awful. It was awful. Like, the first 3 to 4 years of our marriage were awful. And it wasn't because we were fighting. It was because we had so much family drama that consumed every waking minute. Every spare minute was just family drama. And it was like, why? Why would you do this? This last year, I have been going through and looking at how I deal with the world. And looking at, how do I relate to my husband? What is my relationship like with my mom? How many friends do I have? Why are we friends? And just kind of going through and seeing what's healthy, what's not healthy. My view of this person, is it accurate? The view of reality, is it accurate? Like, am I looking at things through this lens of, you know, everything's hopeless? Am I looking at it through this lens of, you know, rose-colored glasses where everything's great, I'm just not dealing with stuff? Like, how can I take these things that sometimes aren't great things and put them before God and put them out there to be dealt with? And how can I deal with them? And how can I find healthy ways to deal with them instead of trying to cope in an unhealthy way and ignore the problem, which is not healthy. None of that's healthy. A lot of reasons why I've arrived at this place, but I am going to go through just a quick list of why I'm doing this. Why is Chelsea losing weight? First things first, I am morbidly obese. I am a 5'1" tall woman, and I weigh, at the moment, I weigh 280 pounds. When I started, I weighed 290 pounds. So that is a lot of weight on my small frame, and it's resulted in a lot of really unhappy things for me, and I'm just going to list a few of them. There have been a lot of hard things that have also occurred because of that, but I'm just going to kind of give you guys like a brief list of what's going on. I have severe knee and back problems. I tore my meniscus. That was actually part of it. The reason that it was torn, there we go, there's some English, was when we first got Kimmy, she pulled me down the flight of stairs out front of the condo we used to live in. It was icy, it was February, and I tore my meniscus. Unfortunately, my husband was working full-time out of the home. I was in the home, and I had to take that puppy out for potty by myself with my torn meniscus, and I just kept thinking, this is horrible. This is absolutely horrible. But my weight causes inflammation on my knees, and it's sometimes really hard to walk. It's sometimes really, like, I don't trust myself in doing jumping jacks anymore. I don't trust myself in jumping on things. I don't trust myself with stuff like that because I'm like, I'm gonna wreck my knees, or I'm gonna slip and I'm gonna hurt myself in a way that might not be repairable or might cause permanent damage. And I don't want to go there. We have been having fertility problems for the past 4 years. And fertility problems sometimes they can be fixed if weight is lost. And part of it is too, I want to be strong, and I want to be physically able to do the things that I want in life. I don't just want to sit around and hope that things get better. I don't want to pretend that everything's fine when it's not. I want to take steps to make things better. I want to put feet to prayers, so to speak. It's one thing to pray and say, oh God, take this thing from me, whatever. It's another thing to pray for his wisdom and his guidance. Pray that he makes things better, but also do the work that you need to do yourself. I just want to go out and do things. I want to go and fix things. I want to write things. I want to go on hikes and not feel like it's going to be the end of the world. I want to enjoy my life. I don't want all the emotional baggage that is now clinging to me and weighing me physically down, because that's exactly what happened. I ate my emotional baggage and here it is. I don't want that to take over my life. I want to let go of these things. I want to give these situations that are mentally and emotionally hard for me back over to the God who's sovereign and is in control of them. I want to be strong. I want to be physically strong. I want to be mentally strong. I want to be spiritually strong. I don't want to ignore these things and pretend that they're not there and eat to forget. I don't want to do that anymore. I also have a lot of pain in random places in my body that I'm sure is actually something, probably. But I also have some ailments that would be fixed by losing weight. Not fixed, or at least, if not fixed, they would at least be healed to a certain extent, or lessened maybe in their degree. I have severe allergies. I have GERD. Actually, Guys, you'll be proud of me. You'll be proud of me. I have lessened and completely gotten off of, for the most part, my GERD medication. So, because I was like terrified, I'm like, oh no, I'm going to just keep taking it, and it's going to get worse and worse, and then I'm going to have to go on proton pump inhibitors, and I will never be able to get off those. But I lessened my medication, and degree by degree by degree, and now I'm kind of off my GERD medication, and I was like, yay! Which is so funny because it had like a lot of side effects, and one of the side effects was like discouragement. Like, I've never seen a medication have discouragement as a side effect. Anyway, I'm off the GERD meds, which I'm super happy about. But I also have IBS, and I have esophageal asthma, and a precursory look on Healthline. If you guys think Healthline is trustworthy, I have a nurse friend who uses it, so I'm going to say hesitant yes. A lot of these things can be helped or the severity lessened by weight loss. So, and I get it. I get the irritation of being like a fat girl going to the doctor and you have a problem and they're like, oh, you just need to lose weight. But there is some science behind it. There is some medical backing behind it where you can actually help yourself by losing weight on certain things. Probably not a broken arm, but GERD most assuredly, IBS probably. There's a lot of things that can be helped through weight loss. And I think I already talked about this, but another big reason why I want to tackle this right now and why I think that it's a good thing to tackle is because I want to improve my own mental health. I want to know and have a better understanding of why my body works. And I want to have a better understanding of what certain foods might do to like my brain. Or, for example, I find that I am a lot less anxious and I'm a lot funner to be around when I don't drink caffeine. So I've had to switch to decaf or matcha. Matcha has actually helped a lot too, so I would recommend matcha to peeps. I want to love my body and I want to love who I am in a godly way. Like a godly self-love, not a prideful self-love, I guess, if that makes sense. And I just, I want to be able to deal, as I've said previously, I want to be able to deal with these issues that are, familial issues or friendship issues or church issues or whatever it is. I want to be better able to deal with things that are hard. And I want to be better able to cope well when things happen. Not to ignore my feelings, but to deal with my feelings, to feel my feelings, and to find ways to improve the situation or ways to cope that aren't going to hurt me in the long run. And eating myself into a stupor has never fixed a problem in my life. My last reason for why I'm losing weight and what that looks like is my faith. I think that if I'm a Christian, I need to show it in all aspects of my life, not just when I show up on Sunday or to Bible studies or to whatever. I feel that being a good steward of my body is like critically important. And I was reading this so in the Bible study that I am the leader of, we are going through Refresh, which is a great book. And she talks about a lot of different things concerning how we live our lives and how that impacts us spiritually. If we're not getting enough sleep, that can impact us spiritually. If we're eating things that cause us discomfort or pain or flare-ups even, or things that don't fill us in a healthy way, I want to say, like, not that you can never have chips ever again, but if you have only eaten chips all day and you're in a cranky mood and, whatever, that can, like, totally affect your spiritual health. There's that running joke that if you get saved at a Baptist church, they'll give you a Bible and a 9x5 casserole dish. Like, and I'm not against potlucks. I just had a potluck with my church yesterday or last Sunday. I'm not against potlucks. Like, don't get me wrong. But we make too light of gluttony. We don't address it. In the Old Testament, and I just got done reading it, and guys, Jimmy Needham's wife, I follow Jimmy Needham's wife on the interwebs, and she did this amazing article talking about the Israelites when they were basically, a big chunk of Israelites were killed off for their gluttony. For their gluttony, they were killed. Because my version says for their greed, but it was because they overate. It was because they were selfish and they tempted God. And it's a great article, and I'm going to post it underneath here, so feel free to look at it. But yeah, like, and a big thing for me when it comes to losing weight, I really want to have kids. I really, really, really want to have kids. I really want to. Right now we're looking into adoption, so we're like planning on the future, and who knows what videos I'll do about that in the future. Regardless of if I have children naturally or through adoption or through foster care or whatever, I want to make sure that I am not putting onto my children or giving them the gift of here's how you cope with trauma, and it's unhealthy coping mechanisms. Here is your gift of unhealthy coping mechanisms. You're welcome. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. I want to love them and care for them, and I want to be a guiding light for them on how to deal with hard stuff in a healthy way. How to love our bodies, how to love being active and being, outside and enjoying life. I want to be this like beacon, I guess. I want to be this beacon of just how to really love your life. And when I have overeaten in the past, it wasn't because I loved life, it was because of the opposite. I was trying to cover up how much I was suffering with food. I was trying to bury myself under a mountain of food because I was unhappy with my life. Instead of creating a life that I enjoy and creating a life that honors God and creating a life that's full and bright. Instead of doing that, I hid. I ignored the problems and I just ate. And I do not want to pass that on to another generation. I do not want my kids to be running around asking me, Mom, can I have another Twinkie? I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that mom who just, there was that kid who died at 4 years old from obesity. And I cried. I watched that video and I sobbed. I could not believe that. That is abuse of the highest kind, and I will not be party to it. But yeah, I want to be a good example to my children of healthy ways to cope with things and healthy ways to deal with problems, and to know that they are loved and they are not alone, and it'll be okay. Those are like my main underlying reasons of why I have decided to go on this weight loss journey, why it's so important to me. Here's what I'm doing. Moving on, here is what Chelsea is doing for her weight loss. So, first things first, I am counting calories. I cannot cut out food groups because of my GERD. That is just not possible. I can't go keto. I can't do Atkins. We already go low fat on a lot of things because of my GERD and because my husband's lactose intolerant. We already go pretty low fat on stuff anyway. But I definitely can't do keto. because the acid will build up in my stomach and I'll end up puking acid. One way to combat that is starchy foods or carbious. Is that a word? We'll make it a word. Carbious foods. I can't do it because of the carbious. Calorie counting, I am restricting in that way. The good news is that when I was living at home, I was a binge eater. I really, really was. I would wait till everybody went to bed and I would binge eat. But when I moved out, I was mostly not a binge eater. But I tried to over-restrict, and that became a binge cycle. I binge cycled, right? Because if you over-restrict, then when you do indulge, you overindulge, which leads to the binge eating, and it's a horrible cycle. I learned the hard way. Do not restrict your calories to 1,200. It doesn't work. I promise it's a bad idea. Take it from somebody who learned the hard way. That's why the first round of weight loss that I had videos and whatever, that first one was 1,200 calories. And you know what happened? It didn't work. It turned into binge eating and it was awful. So let me save you the trouble. Do not do it. So what I did do is Nerd Fitness is a great resource. I'm also going to link them in the bottom. Nerd Fitness is amazing. I recommend, my dear friends, that you go onto their How to Lose Weight page, which is super great. There's a lot of information. They go really nerdy, which is really helpful to this nerd right here. They have a great TDEE calculator. I say calendar. Yikes. They have a great TDEE calculator. So it's total daily energy expenditure. I think that's what TDEE stands for. And I'll link it in the bottom. Essentially, what you're trying to do is figure out what your TDEE is. And they also have it, they also show what your basal metabolic rate is as well. I went for 1,200 based off of my basal metabolic rate, which is inaccurate, which is not helpful, okay? The BMR is just a rate to what your body needs to survive, okay? Your TDEE includes how much energy do you expend during the day? Like, how much do you do? So, off of the TDEE number, what that is how much you need to eat in a day to maintain where you're at. I took 500 calories off of it. 500 calories off of my TDEE number means that I will be losing about a pound a week if I'm consistent. The good news is that leaves me with 1,800 calories as opposed to 1,200, which means that I am going to be having 3 500-calorie meals and a snack. Yeah. And they will be filling and delicious. My 500 calories, I'll do a what I eat in the day thing because for real, but it's really, really nice to have that extra calories in there. Even if I'm going slower, it means that A, I'll be more consistent. B, I feel super full and it's great. I don't feel like I'm under eating. And C, it's something that I can do for a long time. Will I be calorie counting for the rest of my life? Probably not. But what this does do is help my body adjust to the calories that I need to eat, if that makes sense. So that's what I'm doing eating wise. I'm not doing keto or Atkins or anything like that. And for binge eating, if you keep satiated and you try to incorporate your favorite foods into what you're eating, it's going to help you to not feel deprived and get on the binge cycle. If you're eating a satiating amount of calories, it will also help you not go into the binge cycle either. So I'm not feeling deprived and I'm not feeling like hungry all the time either. And that's important. And most of the time when you're eating at home, my favorite thing is crock pot meals. I totally recommend it to everybody. Eat your crock pot meals. Okay, guys. Here's another tip. Here's a helpful tip. Find a workout buddy. My girlfriend Karen and I went to my gym, and we had the best time. We were there for like 5 hours. Happy Memorial Day. We were there for 5 hours, and we had a blast. We worked out for 2 of those hours, and then the next 3 we went and we swam, we did like walking laps, we went into the jacuzzis. There's like a kids area that has these huge slides, and you have to go up like 3 flights of stairs to get to the slides. It was so much fun. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. So for real, if you guys are ever around and you need a workout buddy, I will go work out with you, and we will go down the slides like 50 times. It was so much fun. It's like you're working out without realizing it. Oh my gosh. And you can see like all of Pikes Peak from there, and it's beautiful. I love my gym. It's so great. All right. So I am also walking Kimmy. I'm not walking her as much as I should be, but I'm walking Kimmy. That's my cardio. I also do weights and upper body cardio, mostly because as is life, my knees hate me. What I end up doing is upper body cardio. So there's like a rope pull machine, so I do that. I also there is an upper body cycling machine where you can like run the hands, so I'll do that as well. Full body weightlifting set, so I will do basically everything, and I have a spreadsheet that I use to keep track. So I can show you guys my gains if you want to see them. Get them gains. But I used to only be able to do 15 pounds upper body. I have no upper body strength to save my life. Now I can do 40 pounds. I am super jazzed about that. It's super fun. It's so great. So great. And I also do a lot of swimming, like a lot of swimming. It's kind of my reward. I love swimming. I need to be around a body of water. I hope you'll join me on my journey of losing weight. I want to get to a healthy weight, whatever that healthy weight is. I have a number in my head. I have a few numbers in my head, actually. What I really want to do is get back down to the 140s and then see where that takes me. So part of it is I really want to gain a lot of muscle eventually. I want to maintain the amount of muscle that I have, and I want to lose the fat, I guess. So I think 140 is reasonable, where it puts me in the more muscular kind of area. According to the BMI scale, I should be between 105 and 130. So we'll see what happens with that. But I do want to get down there. I am not down there, but I do want to get down there. That would be like super fantastic. So anyway, feel free to join me on my journey. This is just very important to me, and I thought you guys would like to know why the Fitstagram. This is why the Fitstagram. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I am doing this to make positive waves into the future, and I hope that you will join me. Okay, well, I'll talk to you lovelies later. Okay, love you. Bye! Do you guys like my new glasses? I'm so sorry. I'm like so ADD. I think I probably have some form of undiagnosed ADD, but I don't know. I probably have a lot of undiagnosed things about this, so just don't know. Anyway, but do you like my new glasses? They're fun. They have little sparklies right there. I like it. Okay, anyway, I prayed, dear Lord, please let there at least be some California vibes in this Colorado town.